This person prayed about you last night, and what they saw brought tears to their eyes. Archangel Michael says, when the world sleeps, heaven awakens those chosen to intercede. Someone was stirred from their rest, not by noise, but by a deep spiritual pull. Your name was whispered into the night. They obeyed the call, knelt in the silence, and began to pray, not knowing that what they were about to see would bring tears they couldn't control. It wasn't an ordinary prayer, it was sacred and specific. This person has carried a quiet burden about you for some time, but last night it became unbearable. They prayed, and what was revealed to them broke something open. They wept, not just for you, but for what's about to unfold in your life. The vision came slowly at first, like a fog lifting off a forgotten path. They saw you standing alone, unaware that a heavy force was closing in around you from people you trusted. It wasn't your fault, you have been walking with your heart wide open, not realizing who has been quietly hoping for your downfall. The image shifted, and they saw shadows whispering lies with your name on their tongue. They saw a celebration you weren't invited to, one where your name was mocked, misunderstood, misused. And yet, even through the betrayal, a divine light clung to your spirit in that vision, refusing to dim. Type Amen to get blessing 333. They cried not because you were weak, but because heaven showed them how strong you have remained. The weight you've been carrying, the silent suffering, the unspoken disappointment, it was all seen in the spirit. Tears fell because they realized you had no idea how close the breakthrough is, even while you're surrounded by wolves. The prayer became deeper, more urgent. They asked for protection over you, for clarity, for divine intervention before something irreversible occurs. In that moment, a name was revealed, a person who pretends to care, but who hides intentions soaked in envy. Archangel Michael says, your name is being protected in realms beyond what you can see. There is a force that tried to wrap itself around your destiny like chains, but it's losing grip. Because of that prayer, something sacred shifted. The battle over your name is no longer one-sided. Suddenly, they saw you standing in front of a door. The lock was ancient, the key buried deep in soil filled with tears and time. But they saw the key glowing, rising upward, responding to the sound of your pain. Type Amen to get blessing 814. They cried because they realized how long you've been waiting for something you were always worthy of. You are not forgotten. The delay wasn't denial, it was divine timing forming a shield until the right hour arrived. They saw a letter in someone's hands, your name scribbled across it in gold. But this wasn't just ink, it was sacred seal, marked by the divine, signaling your inheritance of something beyond material. What's coming carries restoration, truth, and exposure. Your silence has been louder than thunder in the spiritual realm. Every night you chose not to react, not to break, not to expose others, you were being counted. And now, that tally has reached its turning point. They prayed over your feet, for every step to be ordered away from traps. They asked for divine judgment on those who used your kindness as a mask to hide their venom. And heaven heard, not just the prayer, but the tears, the silent evidence of truth. Type Amen to get blessing 299. Someone has been crying behind closed doors over what they did to you. They never thought the energy would return, but now they're being haunted by what they released into your life. Their peace is gone because they tried to interrupt yours. Your name will no longer be used in hidden rooms for jokes or false stories. There is a divine watcher now, activated by sincere prayer. You are protected not just by people, but by realms. They prayed for clarity, and then a picture fell from a shelf, your photo. It was a sign. Heaven used that as confirmation. Your story is not over, but about to rewrite itself. Archangel Michael says, the pain you endured is going to be the platform from which your purpose will rise. The person who wept last night over you is being instructed to step forward. They are carrying a message that must be delivered soon, face to face, word for word. Type Amen to get blessing 477. They didn't want to tell you at first. They thought maybe you wouldn't believe them, or that you've been hurt too much to accept help. But what they saw in their prayer can't be ignored. It was a warning and a blessing. In the vision, a woman was placing something beneath your door. Not a gift, but a trap dressed in sweetness. She smiled while doing it, believing you would fall for the same lie twice. But heaven already whispered it to someone awake in spirit. And now that person is watching, waiting for the moment to pull you away before it's too late. You are being led out of the storm, even if you don't yet feel the movement. The person who cried last night is holding the blueprint for your next chapter. They have seen where you were broken, and now they know where the healing must begin. And they will not rest until you're standing on safe ground again. Type Amen to get blessing 909. The prayer turned into warfare, light against dark, truth against deception. They saw hands trying to snatch something from you, a document or opportunity. But the angelic force surrounding you was too strong, it snatched it back before the hands could grip it. You have been protected in moments you didn't even realize were dangerous. A car followed you once not out of curiosity, but intent. But their engine failed, and they blamed it on luck. It wasn't luck. It was the result of someone who prayed fiercely, with real tears, real faith. And because of them, that moment passed without touching you. Archangel Michael says, some blessings will look delayed, but that's because the path must first be cleared of snakes. You are not forgotten, you are the main target of light in a time full of shadows. And light always wins when it is fueled by truth. Type Amen to get blessing 552. That person who prayed for you is about to show up in your life unexpectedly. They may come with something small, a gesture, a phrase, a strange moment of recognition. But behind their eyes will be the weight of everything they've seen on your behalf. They don't want attention, they want you to be safe, whole, and free. They were chosen to cry over you because heaven trusts their heart. They have been assigned to witness your transformation. A clock was seen in the vision, frozen at 2:11. That moment will mean something to you soon. It's the timestamp of a breakthrough that has been building since someone walked away from you unjustly. That betrayal triggered an awakening. The hurt forced you into a shell, but now your light is cracking through it. And that's what caused the person to weep last night, they saw the light returning. Type Amen to get blessing 633. They're not coming empty-handed. They've been storing things for you, messages, warnings, confirmations. When the time comes, it will all make sense. You are not where you used to be, even if it feels like you are. The emotional scars are not signs of defeat, they are maps. Maps that someone was guided to read through the spirit. Soon, you will sit with someone and feel chills down your spine. Because they will speak something only heaven and you were supposed to know. That's when you'll realize who prayed last night, and why they were chosen. Archangel Michael says, the spiritual tears shed last night formed a protection that cannot be undone. Your name is written in a book of those marked for transformation. Now, it is unfolding. Type Amen to get blessing 721. Your image has been shown to someone of power. And they are now watching you, not for harm, but to help. What was meant to destroy your name is going to be used to promote it. The tears were not of pity, they were of divine recognition. They finally saw you for who you are beneath the layers, the pain, the masks. And that changes everything. Keep walking, even if your feet feel heavy. Someone is ahead, clearing the path while praying behind the scenes. You are not alone, and last night proved it. What comes next will start small, a conversation, a letter, a sign. But it will confirm that you are rising from what others tried to bury you under. And the one who cried will witness your crown being placed. Type Amen to get blessing 888. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. They were shown a moment from your childhood. A wound, a silence, a forgotten cry that was never fully healed. And in their prayer, they wept because they could feel how long you've carried that pain without anyone truly knowing. This wasn't just an emotional cry. It was a spiritual release, a sacred mourning for the years you stayed strong for everyone else but yourself. They saw it all, and suddenly, the purpose of your current season made perfect sense. You are being repositioned in the heavens before you're repositioned on the earth. The delay in your progress is not punishment, it's protection and preparation. What's forming around you is bigger than what was lost behind you. Type Amen to get blessing 413. They cried for your mind. Because they saw the mental torment that others caused you while pretending they were your safe space. They saw how you overthought things not because you were weak, but because you cared so deeply. They saw someone who speaks your name often, but with resentment. That person envies how people are drawn to your light. And instead of being inspired, they grew bitter in secret. A photo was shown in the vision, your face circled in red by someone's hand. It was a plan of harm, sabotage, and shame. But it has now backfired because it was exposed in prayer. You don't even know it yet, but a plot just collapsed because someone cried out your name in truth. Their words intercepted the enemy's intentions. Now, what was meant for disgrace will become a story of your resilience. Type Amen to get blessing 566. They cried because they saw how much you've been trying to remain calm. Even when your world was spinning, even when lies were told, you kept your head high. But they also saw that it's okay to rest now, the storm is shifting. You may not feel the release immediately. You may still feel the echoes of anxiety, the tension in your chest. But something already broke in the spirit, and peace is on its way. You were the topic of heaven's protection last night. A sacred agreement was made while you slept. The person who cried was acting on divine assignment. Archangel Michael says, your name carries divine meaning. No more will it be used in conversations that dishonor you. It will now open doors that were previously shut with no explanation. Type Amen to get blessing 207. A man from your past has been trying to reach into your life again. He has regrets, but not the right intentions. He's watching your rise and wants to benefit from what he abandoned. The person who prayed over you saw his face. They recognized the danger disguised as remorse. They were told to protect you from this re-entry. You will know it's him by his words, charming but vague, familiar yet different. He won't mention what he did clearly, only how he misses what he lost. But heaven is sending someone to stand between you and that trap. You will be warned before you fall again. Your heart is healing, but not yet hardened, and that's why protection is needed. The prayer you received last night secured that shield. Type Amen to get blessing 733. They cried over the hidden documents with your name. Files you don't know exist, conversations held in rooms you've never stepped into. But those secrets are now unraveling. A signature was seen, forged. Something involving your identity, used without consent. But what was done in darkness is about to be exposed in daylight. Your spirit has been under surveillance, not just by people, but by energies. And that's why this prayer was critical. It sealed your path with divine authority. You will begin to notice people avoiding your eyes. It's because they know you're being protected now. They know their access is shrinking. Type Amen to get blessing 891. The one who wept for you has seen your name in lights. Not fame, but elevation. You are about to be recognized for something you kept hidden, your real purpose. And when it happens, those who mocked you will pretend they always believed. But you will remember the tears someone cried for you in silence. You will remember who stood in the spirit when no one clapped in the physical. You're about to be called into a room by someone powerful. They will speak your name with respect. And that moment will shift everything you thought you lost. Archangel Michael says, you are no longer on the outside. The gates that once closed have no choice now but to open. Heaven is rearranging the map so that you end up exactly where you were meant to stand. Type Amen to get blessing 144. Your voice is going to be requested. The very words you were once mocked for are now needed. You're not meant to be silent, you are meant to shake systems. This next person entering your life comes because of the intercession. Their path was altered because they needed to meet you. They've heard of you, but now they will see why your name carries weight. The person who prayed over you saw an envelope handed to this new person. Inside was your name, your story, your impact. Now they are on their way. It will happen fast, a meeting, a message, a divine alignment. But it won't feel forced, it'll feel like home. You've been prepared for it through every tear, every silent night. Type Amen to get blessing 622. They saw your dreams, some of them not even spoken yet. They saw how close you are to breaking generational patterns. And they cried because they knew the cost you paid in silence. But here's what they also saw. A celebration is being arranged with your name on it. Not just spiritually, but physically. Something real. The person who once ignored you will soon witness your rise. And they will be silent, not out of peace, but stunned by your transformation. Because grace doesn't announce itself, it just shows up and changes everything. And the one who wept for you is still praying now. Because they know what's next requires even deeper covering. You are shifting from survival to significance. Type Amen to get blessing 3333. The one who cried last night over you was shown your silence. Not just the quiet you live in when you're alone, but the spiritual silence, the kind that no one else sees. They were shown how often you smile while carrying storms inside your chest. They broke down when they saw how many times you've forgiven people who never once said sorry. How you healed people who left you hurting. How you stayed even when you were treated like you were replaceable. They were told to speak blessings over your name. And they obeyed, not just with words, but with emotion, spirit, and heart. Those blessings now rest over you like a veil of light, impenetrable by envy or lies. Type Amen to get blessing 378. A phone call was intercepted in their vision. Your name was mentioned, but not with kindness. Someone was planning to twist a story, to damage your image for their own gain. But the person who prayed saw this call before it even happened. And their tears became a weapon in the spirit, cutting through manipulation. Now, those words will return to the sender with justice. They cried for your trust. Because you've given it to people who only pretended to deserve it. They saw the betrayal that never reached your ears, and they mourned on your behalf. You will soon be shocked when you learn who smiled with you and gossiped behind you. The truth is going to unfold in a way you never expected. And when it does, don't be afraid, it's meant to set you free. Type Amen to get blessing 905. There is a location you've been avoiding. A place tied to a memory that still feels like unfinished pain. The person who prayed for you was shown this place, and they cried because they saw you avoiding it to protect your heart. But the vision didn't stop there. They saw you return to that place stronger. Not to relive pain, but to reclaim power. That space will not define your story, it will witness your breakthrough. Your presence will shift the energy there. And the people who once saw you broken will now see you whole. Archangel Michael says, your feet are being guided to holy ground. Each step is planned. Even your delays are divine. Type Amen to get blessing 411. A woman has been observing you from a distance. She smiles, but there's poison in her intentions. She once competed with you silently, and now she is watching your every move with quiet hatred. In the prayer, this woman was shown trying to mimic you. Trying to copy your way, your walk, your words. But what she doesn't realize is that favor isn't something you can imitate, it's something you carry from within. The one who cried for you saw her face clearly. She knew this woman's path would cross yours again. But this time, you'll be equipped. No more walking into traps unaware. No more extending grace where there's only greed. You are stepping into a new level of discernment. Type Amen to get blessing 650. They saw you in a crowd, so many faces around, yet your eyes searching for peace. You've been surrounded, yet alone. Loved, but misunderstood. In the vision, you stood still while everyone else moved. It was a sign. Your path is different because your purpose is divine. That's why certain people had to be removed from your life, even if it hurt. They couldn't carry what's being placed in your hands. And the person who cried saw exactly why. They cried because you've outgrown the space you once begged to belong in. You're not meant to fit anymore, you're meant to lead. The transition may be uncomfortable, but it is holy. Type Amen to get blessing 300. Your reflection is about to change. Not just what you see in the mirror, but what you see when you look within. You're about to recognize the version of you that has always been buried beneath survival. They saw you crowned, not by people, but by divine authority. They saw the heaviness lift from your shoulders. And they wept, because they knew you've carried things alone for too long. You are no longer in the waiting season. You are in the crossing over season. The one who prayed saw you step out of the wilderness and into visibility. Archangel Michael says, no one will steal this moment from you. No voice will drown out your truth. You are being established, not just protected. Type Amen to get blessing 882. They cried when they saw a child holding your hand. Whether literal or symbolic, this child represented restoration. The innocence you lost is being returned in a higher form. There is a generational shift happening through your life. You've broken patterns by simply choosing peace instead of revenge. And now, a new path is forming beneath your steps. They saw you surrounded by people who look nothing like your past. New voices, new friends, new love. People who will value what others took for granted. But before all this arrives, the tears shed last night sealed a promise. You are about to witness God restore everything you thought was lost forever. Piece by piece, truth by truth. Type Amen to get blessing 1111. A window appeared in the vision, one that had been locked for years. The one who cried last night saw your hands finally reaching to open it. What poured through wasn't just air, but opportunity, clarity, and something ancient calling your spirit home. You have been misunderstood for so long, even by those closest to you. Your silence made people assume you were weak, but they never realized silence is where your strength was forged. Now the silence is shifting. Soon your voice will shake the room without raising its tone. The prayer shifted to a declaration. The person who wept over you began to speak life over everything connected to your name. They called back every part of you that had been scattered, stolen, or shattered. They said your name with reverence, not pity. They said your name with authority, not apology. And in that moment, heaven echoed it. Type Amen to get blessing 988. There is a table being prepared in your name. Not just metaphorical, but real, where people will recognize what you carry without needing to prove it. Your reputation is being repaired in places you haven't even entered yet. The person who cried last night saw a letter burn at your feet. It was filled with old accusations, false rumors, and betrayal. But as the flames rose, so did the truth. You no longer have to defend yourself. What's ahead is going to speak louder than what's behind. The one who prayed for you sealed this moment in divine timing. You will walk into a room where someone is already expecting you. They won't say it out loud, but their spirit will recognize you. It's already been shown to them in dreams and signals. Type Amen to get blessing 497. They saw hands attempting to chain your name in jealousy. But the chains didn't hold, they turned to dust. Because your purpose isn't bound by other people's fear of your light. The person praying saw your future smiling at you through the tears. They cried because they saw you still believing even when believing hurt. That level of faith cannot go unanswered. There's a house with your name on it, seen in their vision. You don't even know the location yet, but it's marked, preserved, waiting. Because you were always meant to have a place that feels like restoration. And soon, the keys will be in your hands. They cried when they saw you hold them, because they knew what you went through just to arrive there. You didn't just survive, you passed a spiritual test others failed quietly. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. Archangel Michael says, the ones who watched you break will now witness you bloom. And those who turned their backs will now see your name whispered with honor. You are not entering this next season alone, you are being ushered by Spirit. The one who cried over you carries a word that will soon fall from their lips into your ears. When you hear it, you will feel something unlock inside. A knowing, a confirmation, a holy recognition. They saw your eyes close in weariness, and their tears fell because they knew how long you've gone without rest. But rest is coming. Not just sleep, but soul rest, heart rest, mind rest. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to beg to be seen. You are about to be honored in the same places you were overlooked. Type Amen to get blessing 222.